Welcome back to the IPF World Championships live in Homestead, Sweden. I am Ryan Sixpack Lapidat, accompanied by
Joe Whiteley.
And we have the big boys, Joe. The 120 pluses, the super heavyweights. The lineup is stacked. Jesus Oliveira, a junior representing the U.S. Virgin Islands, has an absolute monster total and set powerlifting community on fire with what he did in the past year, making his IPF World debut. However, he is met on the platform by multiple-time world champion representing the ROC, Andrei Konovalov, as well as former world champion Eric Willis, who was moving up from the 120s. David Lupak, also a former world champion. It is a stacked class, resumes with world titles all over them, welcoming the newcomer. It's going to be exciting.
It's going to be great. We've had the super heavyweight women in the morning. We've got the super heavyweight women this afternoon. This is Super Sunday.
Nicely done, Joe. You're on point today, and I hope the fellas are on point, because if they are, there's going to be some big lifts. These spotters and loaders are going to be earning their lunch. Let me tell you that.
We do not have a lot of people from the previous time this competition was held. We don't have a lot of the Helsingborg top three. In fact, we don't have any of the top three here today. So this is going to go to a new super heavyweight record holder or world champion.
It is. It's a bit of a changing of the guard. And Jesus Oliveira, what he's done leading into these IPF worlds really caught everybody's attention and their imagination. Absolute monster squats, capable of, over a 400-kilo squat, around a 400-kilo deadlift. Obviously, this is the IPF Worlds. We'll see if that's what he needs today. I'm sure he's more likely to load the bar with what he thinks is going to win it. Yeah. But in terms of new faces, you're right in terms of the classic. But Konovalov, coming over from the equipped world, multiple-time world champion, world games champion, making his classic world's debut. Everybody's excited to see what he does. And representing India, Nick Prasad with 150 kilo on the bar. He's on the board.
2-1. He got one red card for depth. It gets really difficult to tell depth with some of these super heavyweights.
Yeah, these are large gentlemen. If you want to be humbled, walk around in that warm-up room.
They are giants in there today.
It's like walking around in some kind of a fantasy book. Land of the Giants. Busk Jonathan of India, 180 on the bar for him.
Easy weight.
Moved pretty fluidly and easy. Yeah. Depth
Not
was
deep
an
enough.
issue. However, with how easily he moved it, he chose a weight that if he needs to, he could probably sit on the ground with it. And that's what you want for your opener.
Yeah, he just needs to go out the back now, recalibrate and understand what the requirement is. Come back and nail it.
Ireland's James McCarthy, 270 kilo for his opener.
Brand new lifter, been competing 1 year, and he's on the world stage.
Up to 1 year in competition. Followed by Pelita and Hall.
Come on, James. Good. Yep.
2-1, and James is on the board.
One referee called for depth.
for Pelliccio Francesco, Italia, 290 kilo, followed by Hall and Gleisner.
Francesco Palizza of Italy, 290 kilo for his opening squat.
13 years in competition.
Depth look good.
Bar speed on point. Italy's on the board.
310 kilo on the back.
These weights are going to get rather heavy rather quickly.
His personal best is 325, 37 years young, 6 years in competition. The bar is loaded for Hall Wesley, Great Britain, 310 kilo, followed by Gleisner and Valla.
Wesley Hall representing Great Britain, 310 kilo on the bar for him.
Hasn't been to a world since Salo. That was all the way. In fact, that was World Bench. That's right. He did World Bench in 2018. He is a big bencher. Not sure he's done a 3 lift worlds before. That wasn't super easy.
Not super easy. Let's see what the judges say about depth. 3 white lights, so he's on the board, but I'm going to have to agree with you. It wasn't the easiest, smoothest. Maybe it's just nerves. That, like you said, it's his first 3 lift worlds.
I spoke to him this morning. He was having difficulty getting enough food. I mean, this is a problem for the supers.
I guess so. Yeah, I have no idea what it'd take to keep a man that size.
No, I contributed some snacks early this morning.
Robert Gleisner of Finland, 315 on the bar for him.
Is 325, 30 years young and 4 years in competition, followed by Valla and Mas.
Robert has hit 325, 10 kilo below that.
And again, he's had to put some work in.
Good to one good lift.
One blue card, that's for lockout on squats. Can be for downward movement of the bar, but I don't think that was an issue. So this was on lockout. Yeah, look, he's not locked out on his right leg.
Robert Valic of Slovakia, 320 kilo on the bar for him.
Bar loaded for Valla Robert, Slovakia, 320 kilo, followed by Mas Romuald and Jonathan Bosta, 29 years young, 12 years in competition. And this is a new personal best. Come on, give big hand here for Valla Robert, new personal best attempt.
Easy.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
705 pounds, moving that easily.
Good lift.
It's frightening.
330 kilo on the back. His personal best is 350, 29 years young, 8 years in competition.
Ramoud Mace of France, 330 on the bar for him.
The bar is loaded for Mas Romuald, 330 kilo, followed by Jonathan and Knight. 350 kilo is his personal best.
20 kilos below his PB. This should move well. And it does.
Nicely done. And just a reminder here as well, we have a large amount of 120 pluses, so we are split into 2 flights. This is flight 1. The top end nominations will be in flight 2, so we are picking back up in our second round of squatting already. And there's a quick peek at flight 1 squats.
And this is great for these supers because quite often it's a small class, there's one group, and that means it only gives them 20 minutes to warm up the next discipline. This means that Group B can warm up while Group A is lifting, and they get a little bit more time to get themselves into shape.
Flip side, the time between your first, second, and third is going to be tight. So
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
pros and cons. You got to see who adjusts, right?
So maybe 6 or 7 minutes between attempts, but at least you get time to warm up your next
Right.
lift.
They do. You're right. They have a long way to go in their warm up from an empty bar to, we're talking sometimes 300 and some odd, 350 kilo. Jonathan Bosak of India, 180 on the bar for him. Easy work.
Yeah. He didn't make depth last time, and he's not made it this time. The weight's so easy for him. If he could just squeeze into depth.
Yep, he's getting close now. You only have
Yeah,
one more attempt.
That definitely looks better.
It's better, but it still looks high. If we're honest,
Yeah.
then he's got to make some major adjustments in dropping it in the hole.
He's got a panicky walk out there for his next squat now. Nothing on the board.
Nick Prasad of India, 180. Bought himself some insurance with a 150 kilo opening squat. Judging by the 30 kilo jump, he was taking no risks, and I endorse that. If you're uncertain, looking for international depth, international standard judging, we'll say. Depth remains the same wherever you are, but
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think he's done an international before. So, yeah, it's a good idea to get one in. No, he was very careful and very tentative pushing into depth there. And I think he went so far, paused, decided to go a bit further, and then had nothing to come up with. Thought about that, then squeezed in a bit further, and just not there.
Ireland's James McCarthy, 285 kilo being loaded on the bar for him. 15 kilo jump.
Loaded 285 kilo, McCarthy, James, Ireland, followed by Pelitza Weisner. His personal best is 300. Come on, Ireland! Come on!
Quick into the hole.
You get a really good stretch reflex bounce up with that, but you have to be ready for it, and you have to make sure you bounce up in the right direction. The danger is you'll tip over if you come off just a little bit off balance.
We've seen that a couple times earlier in this World Championships.
Under his personal best. Loaded for Pelizza Francesco, Italia.
Francesco Pelizza of Italy, 300 kilo even for his second squat. 10 kilo jump, and we're just 2.5 kilos shy of his previous personal best.
Ooh, nearly ground to a halt, managed to push through.
Quickly, 325 kilo on the back.
Yeah, he stays upright. Maintains his balance. Robert Gleisner of Finland, 325 kilo for his second. 10 kilo jump. This will equal his previous personal best.
325 kilo, which is the same as his personal best, followed by Hall and Valle.
Sounds like a Viking chanting in the background. Appropriate.
Robert was 8th at Helsingborg. He's going to be looking to move up on that today.
Three whites.
325 25 kilos still on the back.
And still very loose in the knees when he's returns the squat to the upright.
Loaded for Walton Wesley, Great Britain, 325 kilos.
Great Britain's Wesley Hall, 325 kilo, remains on the bar for him.
I think this is his PB. I think he did this at the Western Europeans. No, he did 320 at the Western Europeans about 3 weeks ago.
$15-kilo jump. Looking to equal his previous personal best, and judging how this moves, push it a little further for his third.
His first one had work to do. That didn't look much different though.
Slowed in the midpoint, 2 whites. I don't suspect a large jump though.
No, definitely not. He got 1 red for depth.
It was borderline, but yeah, I mean, you can see where one hip might dip, one hip might
Sure.
float a little higher. Robert Valac of Slovakia, 335 on the bar for him. You know, we have individuals in the 120 plus opening with 360, opening with 387 and a half. It
That's
is
insane.
Yeah, absolutely insanity. These spotters and loaders must be sweating bullets.
New personal best of time. Come on, go big hands here. Followed by Mas and Jonathan.
12-year veteran in the sport.
At only 29.
Good lift. 345
Three white lights.
Good lift. He stayed very upright. Sank in, kept his chest up, didn't dip at all. And nods to himself. That was a good squat.
I'm going to have to agree.
Loaded for Mas Romuald France, 345 kilo, followed by Jonathan.
Mass from France, 345 for a second. 15-kilo jump off his first. 5 kilo below his previous personal best. Roughly around 760 pounds on this young man's back.
Bit shaky through the sticking point.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Joe. I think a relatively conservative third attempt would be wise.
And he also had 1 red light for depth, so he needs to make sure he's sinking it in.
As the weight gets heavier, sometimes self-perseverance kicks in, but that's a quick peek at where the scoreboard rests after the second round of squatting. One gentleman failing to get his squat on the board. Weight is not an issue, but depth is.
Yeah, it was very easy for him, so I'm sure the coaches have had a real word with him now and said, look, you just sit that thing down as far as you can go because you can stand up with it.
Spread the knees, young man, and drop it in the hole. These refs will not do you any favors. They will send you home without a total. They must maintain the standard. 180, Buska, Jonathan of India.
You do not get the free pass at the IPF World Championships.
Okay, well,
It's
that'll
better.
look better. Yeah.
Better, yes.
We'll see if it's good enough. It's definitely better. It is. And he should have been doing it from the start, but it is what it is. Maybe he's a little nervous. When you're nervous, sometimes you cut corners.
Sure.
You see on the replay there, it looked like he did
knows,
just that. He
yeah.
opened his knees at the bottom to just sink in there.
He knew as he got to the top he'd done better.
And Nate Prasad of India, 180 on the bar for him. Misses on his second. Retaking it on his third. And we avoided disaster. All the gentlemen now have a squat in flight 1. That looks high.
That is very high indeed.
Loaded, 295
So he took a big
kilos.
jump. We thought that was just to get an easy one in, but maybe that was just too much.
Sometimes when the weight gets heavy, the lifters get shy when it comes to depth.
Change the note now for the second group.
James McCarthy representing Ireland, 295 kilo being loaded for him.
Loaded for McCarthy James, Ireland, 295 kilo, 5 kilo below his personal best. Followed by Hall and Heisen.
Come on, James. Let's go.
Wow. He caught it on the rebound. It came forward just a tiny bit, but he was really strong. Just gave it tons of back, and it went right to the top.
Last attempt to change the note now for the second group. Last attempt to change the note now.
Yeah,
There
gets
it goes.
pulled out of position, but he's strong enough to fight
Yeah.
through it. Great Britain's Wesley Hall, 332.5 kilo loaded on the bar for him.
No, I said he competed at the Western Europeans a couple of weeks ago. That was actually the 2019 Western Europeans.
Followed by Gleisman Ballard. Come on, keep your can, you personal best.
He hasn't competed in the free lift competition this year. Big PB attempt. Seven and a half kilos up. Had work to do with 325.
Yeah, 325 was work. 7.5 kilo when you're this large. Let's see how it registers.
Push it. Oh, not quite.
Yeah, it was close. It was close, but
Oh, maybe 330 would have gone. It's easy to be wise after the event, but that was just a bit too heavy today.
he gave a good fight.
Yeah. Got it to depth.
The brakes came on and there was no recovery there. Started coming back down. Good catch by the spotters. Robert Gleisner of Finland. Gleisner, 335. He's hit 325 previously. Hit 325 today.
Gleisner Robert, Finland, 375 kilo, new personal best attempt. Come on, keep your cans. Followed by Vaya and Mas.
He looks fired up. You need to bring the intensity, but sometimes you can be too fired up on the squat and just lose a little bit of control.
Yep.
Ah, it's not quite there. On deadlift, I think you should give it as much as you can, because at the end of the day, you're just picking it up. On squat, you can lose a little bit of technique if you're too over excited.
Yeah, and especially if your bar path gets wonky. Thing
Yeah.
with the deadlift, unless you're pulling sumo, which can be a little more
Yeah.
dicey, but 345 for Robert Valach of Slovakia.
It's a massive PB attempt.
10 kilo jump, but coming into this, he had a 300 kilo, you're right. Training must have been going well.
Or maybe he hasn't competed for a while.
Also something we've seen where a lot of these lifters, it can be up to 2 years they haven't hit the platform. Got to be a little nerve-wracking. The next time you're on the platform is IPF World Championships with no tune-up in between. It would be a massive personal best for this young man.
That was great.
Good lead.
Three white lights.
Looked like he bottomed out, but he drove that up really well.
This is the same as his personal best.
last lift, last third attempt for the first flight. Then we'll pick up into the second flight openers. Mass of France, 350, 771 pounds.
Prepare Willis and Lupa.
Nice third attempt there.
A little bit of helicopter, but he battles through it. You see on the way up, gets a little turned out of position, but he's so strong he can fight through the twisting action, and it can't stop him. And the opening, there's a quick peek before actually we get to the opening of the flight 2, where the gentleman in flight 1 finished off with a 350 kilo squat. As we enter into flight 2, opening up is former world champion, Canada's golden boy, Eric Willis. 300 kilo even.
His personal best 340, 31 years young and 9 years in competition.
Eric Willis became Canada's first ever world champion when Canada hosted the World Championships.
Oh, strong.
Very strong. Eric looks like he's on point today.
He did 310 at the NAPF Championships in August.
And I believe, and that's because we had spoken about earlier with a lot of these lifters not being able to lift, wanted to get somewhat of a tune-up in, didn't go full out for it.
Yeah.
David Lupak, another former world champion. This is a star-studded session. And David opening with 315.
I don't think we have many that have been both classic and equipped world champion.
Could today. Could today. We got a couple gentlemen who are equipped world champions moving over to the classic, looking to add onto their resume. Well done.
Nice. Well, David Lupak won the Classic Worlds in 2014, the second
Is that
time.
right?
Yeah, back in Poch. That was my first international.
And obviously Konovalov, multiple-time equipped world champion, World Games world champion, future Hall of Famer. Steve Ringout of Belgium, 320, very popular lifter. He looks fierce. Couldn't be a nicer guy off the platform, but on the platform, an absolute warrior. 7:05 for his opener.
He squatted 340 at Belgian Nationals in March. He squatted 347 before that. Wow. That looked comfortable.
Yep, bar speed was on point for Steve. 3 white lights.
One red for depth. Looked fine from this side.
It's hard to tell with those
Yeah,
black singlets.
it's-
Steve's such a large man.
It's really hard to tell. Once you get in the super heavyweights, the quads are so big.
Dmitro Vovk of Ukraine, 330.
Ukraine, 330 kilo. His personal best is 355, 25 years young and 7 years in competition. Followed by Zario and Konovalov.
Wow.
Wow.
There is a lot left for that young man.
Absolutely.
335
He
kilo.
kept really upright. A fast descent. And even faster ascent, I think. Came up really quickly.
350, she's past 36 years young, 10 years in competition. Now it's loaded for Zario Jari, Finland. 375 kilo.
Jari Zario of Finland, 335. He's hit 350. Expecting this to move well for him, a 10-year veteran. Ooh. Stitch of work on the way up. Might just have been slightly pulled out of position, but not so much that the weight was overly heavy for him. We'll have to see on a second, but you see here, gets a little tilted to his right.
It's a very wide stance.
Yeah. He's a wide-bodied man and needs to open his legs and drop in a hole. Now, ROC, Andrei Konovalov, multiple-time world champion in equipped, world games champion, legend in the 120 pluses, future Hall of Famer, making his World Classic debut. Heavily hyped. Everyone's very excited to see what he's capable of.
He did 360 at Russian Nationals in May, but I don't think he was maxing out there.
No, I'd spoken to him on the King of This podcast, and he was saying he hasn't fully committed to Classic at the time. Now he has. Now you're going to see him at his best. And that moved well.
Not super easy, but great technique. And that's what will take you further.
380 is his best lift.
Yeah, I think that's the way he squats. We'll see on his second attempt. Some of these gentlemen, they're so large, it's difficult. They're not going to be smashing these openers like you might picture in 83, but Ruben Rico Martin of Spain, 360 on the bar for him. Massive squatter.
He was fourth placed man at Helsingborg.
Spain very well represented at these world championships, particularly in the juniors. They're pacing like France was 2 years ago.
Giant of a man here.
Absolute giant of a man. He could be on set for Game of Thrones. Whoa.
Knee popped right out at the bottom there.
And a good lift.
Yeah.
387.5.
And we are not done yet.
His personal best.
Look at that knee pop in there, but it didn't bother him one bit.
Absolute monster.
3 years young and 2 years in competition.
387.5 kilo now is being loaded for the fast rising star in IPF World's debut of the heavily hyped Jesus Oliveras, representing the U.S. Virgin Islands. Isaac Whistler won the 120s as a junior and is sticking around, helping to handle all the Joey Flex disciples. And look at that bar bend.
Wow. You don't see an Eleiko power bar bend that much, that often. Not outside equip lifting anyway.
These are equipped numbers. Here he is. Let's see if the hype is real.
He's still junior lifter. 425 is his
Just 23 years old, a junior still, battling giants like Konovalov, Eric Willis, David Lupak. Whoa. Whoa.
I'm speechless. That was just so easy with such a huge weight on his back.
The hype is real. Jesus Oliveras smashes his opener with ease.
That was so fast.
And where will this young man take it? 387.5 offers very little resistance. A look after the openers of Flight 2. we could be into the 400s. There's 2 attempts more. It'd be very unlikely we don't end up there.
I think he might take 400 next or even break through it. 412.5 just went on the board.
Absolutely insane. Eric Willis, 320 on the bar for him. The 120-kilo world champion who moved up, looking to make a statement. 700.
Strong. Yeah, did he move up quite recently? He's weighed in at 134.96 today. Oh, wow, that was no lift. Did not meet depth.
Yeah, it was borderline. It's okay. He could retake the weight. Eric has a monster deadlift on him, and that's really where he's going to build his totals, actually, in the deadlift event. Got a good bench, good squat, but his dead is of epic proportions. And former world champion, I'm going to be saying this a lot because there's so many world champions in this class, but David Lupak of Czechia, 325.
325 kilo, followed by Rango and Boff.
Gone up 10. That's relatively conservative on squat in this class.
It was work, but it was honest work. And David Lupak, his t-shirt says, "Demand greatness." And he's in a flight of individuals who have achieved greatness already. 2 for 2 so far.
The bar is loaded for Rango Steve.
The popular Belgian Steve Ringout with 332.5 on the bar for a second.
Allez, Steve.
Been competing at a high level for quite a long time now.
If this was 1,000 years ago, this man would be defending the wall.
Allez, Steve.
He's used up quite a bit of his platform time already. Let's hope he doesn't have to re-rack the bar for any reason. Gets the command.
Oh, what a great effort by Steve. Levels up when the weight gets heavier. 3 white lights.
450 kilo on the bar. 5 kilo under his personal best.
Knees came back a little bit, but he controlled it really well. He's super strong.
Dmitro Vovk of Ukraine, 350 kilo even, 771 pounds.
50 kilo, followed by Sadio and Konovalov. Come on, Dimitri.
Handles it well, though.
Yeah, he kind of scooped it up at the bottom.
He's a fast squatter, fast in, fast out. Haven't seen him fight. I got a feeling, and you had mentioned this before, some of these gentlemen are super upright. When the fight, it's either kind of an all or nothing proposition. The brakes come on quickly when you're moving fast like
Either
that.
it looks easy or it doesn't go.
Right. Jari Sario of Finland, 352.5 for his second.
Come on, keep the can, new personal best for Johnny.
He's done 350 in the past. This is 352.
Oh, it's a fight. It's a fight. He's good for it, but it's a fight.
His opener wasn't easy.
Well, he enjoys a good fight, though. He came for a fight.
Yeah, that super wide stance. It must be what suits him. He's moving a lot of weight.
IPF legend Andrei Konovalov representing the ROC. They say his name in hushed tones back at the hotel. 20 years in the game. 360 kilo being loaded on the bar for him. And you were saying, what was the squat he had hit earlier this year? Was it around 360?
360.
So let's see. This is Konovalov. Full send, not holding back. 360 is no longer his third. It's now his second.
Has squatted 492.5 equipped.
So this isn't going to scare him when he feels this load on his back.
Oh, it's not there.
Looked like he was going to get it, though. Bar was moving, hit a sticking point, paused midway.
Super upright. Now that's a surprise. We expected him to do a lot more.
Well, especially he had hit it before, and he had said his training wasn't as on point as it was leading into this one. Now, let's see if he can make some adjustments. Yep. He's going to need to. Ruben Rico Martin of Spain, 375 on the bar for him. This man is large.
5 kilo under his personal best.
Oh my goodness.
He just missed the podium in Helsingborg.
He just blew the hair back at the head ref. Whoa, he's got horsepower.
Yeah, so fast into the hole and then so much strength driving out. Wow.
It is quite something being here for the 120 pluses. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Some huge weights.
It's breathtaking.
Look at that.
Literally breathtaking when you watch these men walk around and they're all in one place. How often does that happen? Well, once a year.
And we're seeing the spotting crew nearly be catapulted over the rack when they're trying to use the jacks to adjust the rack height.
I have a relatively easy job calling this. I can't. They have nerves of steel, these spotters and loaders. Bless their hearts. They're going to be drinking at the banquet for sure. 412.5 loaded on the bar as a second attempt. We are over 900 pounds for Jesus Oliveras, representing the U.S. Virgin Islands.
He has done more than this. But you have to take this kind of weight seriously.
Well, there's no other way to take 412.5. Oh, he's on point today, though.
Wow.
Oh, he's on point today, and Jesus Oliveras smashes 412.5.
Absolutely looking super strong.
Startling.
I don't know if you know when he arrived, but jet lag doesn't seem to be an issue here.
Jet lag does not, neither does gravity, apparently. And a look at the standings for the 120 pluses. Jesus Oliveras putting on a squat show with 412.5 for his second. Ruben Rico Martin of Spain with 375. And Sario of Finland with 352.5. Woo.
And he's put 427.5 in for his next. 15 kilos more. You've got to think he's good for it.
Canada's Eric Willis. Missed 320 on depth. Former world champion. You know he knows the world standard. He's got to meet it. Way better.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? It actually moves smoother, too.
And it looked stronger coming up, yeah.
Maybe it was misgroove, and that's why it was cut.
Maybe so.
Sometimes when you misgroove, You cut it a little early for self-preservation because that moved faster, better depth.
That's a real shame he missed his second.
Yeah, he lost a little bit of ground, but some other gentlemen did as well.
True.
Steve Ringer to Belgium, 335. He had hit 332.5. It was a battle. 2.5 kilo jump sounds conservative, but 332.5 was near the limit, we thought.
It was. So this is just about squeezing out every kilo he can possibly manage.
Do you come out for 2.5 kilo and empty the tank, though? You know
It's
what?
a good question.
Is he letting the clock wind
He's
down?
not there. He's not there. The TC just said he's not coming out.
I'm not mad at that at all. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I think that is the appropriate. For 2.5 kilo, don't empty the tank. You need that gas in your tank.
And also, there's 6 lifters in this group, so that's 5 or 6 minutes rest. So he's done the right thing by his competitors. He's put an attempt in. We'll run the clock down now. If he had scratched, then we would have to run the minute down anyway. It's the smallest possible group.
It was the gentlemanly thing to do, the sporting thing to do, is to allow your competitors that extra minute respite. I'll take that extra minute. For a quick shout out to Alico, giving us their headquarters to house this World Championships, as well as SBD, who has not only sponsored the IPF World Championships, several of the national teams, several of the individuals. Without their generosity, none of this would be possible.
And of course, that means Eric Willis is out getting a jump on his bench warm-up.
We're moving forward now. Former IPF World
Excuse me, that
Champion.
was Steve, wasn't it? It wasn't Eric.
Steve Ringer, yeah. Former IPF World Champion David Lupak, 335 kilo, 10 kilo jump from his second attempt. The legend from Czechia.
He's dialed it up. Nope, not quite.
Excellent catch by the spotters. They've been on point. You know, it's not easy spotting and loading for these gentlemen. And they made the right call each and every time so far. Finland.
So even with Steve leaving his lift in and running the clock down, this is still a really fast turnaround.
Super fast. Finland's Jari Serio 355 awaits him on the platform.
So he has come out for a 2.5 kilo increment.
This would, if temporarily, still a few more lifters to go, net him the bronze in the squat. He had a heck of
Squats have looked difficult though, haven't they?
I was just about to say, he had a heck of a scrap. What?
Oh.
The young man is a scrappy young man. That's just how he squats.
And that gets him 1 foot on the squat podium.
That's right. Let's see if another squatter can kick that foot off.
This is now the fight for the bronze medal.
Ukraine's Dmitro Vovk with 362.5, 800 pounds, being loaded on the bar, throwing kilo onto his total, and possibly snagging that bronze in the squat event. IPF President Gaston Perage imploring the crowd to get behind this young man.
It's looking a bit unstable under the weight.
Oh, wow.
Didn't stop him, did it?
No, I tell you what, Anatoly, also from the Ukraine, walked out very shaky, and all 3 of his walkouts
Did actually.
got all 3 of his squats. It's they're just built different. You know, their nervous systems, you see the engine firing as their body shakes. Ruben Rico Martin of Spain, 380 kilo being loaded. This is matching his previous personal best. Silver medalist already, but he could use these kilos towards his total because it's a battle in the 120s. Well, oh my goodness. That is frightening. I think he just charged my phone.
He has got it, I think.
Rico Ruben Martin with a massive squat display.
Phenomenal. That gets in the silver on squat. And a lot of kilos on the board.
Jesus Oliveras loading up a junior world record squat, 427.5 kilo, taking it from Joseph Pena, U.S. Virgin Islands. Jesus Oliveras living up to the hype.
Of course, he can't chip a junior world record in an open world championship.
Well noted, Joe. Some viewers might have been wondering. Here he comes. Here he comes.
The weight on the bar.
You know, with this young man's potential, we could all be looking back at his IPF World debut and recalling this squat. Oh, the power! The power!
That was amazing. He looked like he ground to a halt, but he pushed on through it.
Refusing to be denied, Jesus Oliveras.
The squat that just won't quit.
What a fantastic squat session these 120 pluses put on for us today. I'm glad you covered for me this morning. I got a stitch of sleep because I needed it.
Absolutely.
Take a look at the squats on the scoreboard here. Jesus Oliveras of the U.S. Virgin Islands, 427.5. Ruben Rico Martin of Spain with 380. And Vovk of the Ukraine taking the bronze with 362.5. You do not want to go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. 10 minutes, come back for the bench session. We promise fireworks. And welcome back. And welcome back to the IPF World Championships here live in Holmsted, Sweden. I am Six Pack Lapidat, accompanied by Joe Whiteley. And Joe, my goodness, did we get a squat session for the ages at the IPF Worlds today.
It was absolutely phenomenal. Enormous weights being moved, huge personalities bellowing on the platform.
A peek at the scoreboard here. Jesus Oliveras making history with the biggest squat we've ever seen by a junior, collecting the gold medal amongst legends in the game. Hall of Famers like Konovalov, David Lupak, world champions like Eric Willis. It's a tight, tight race because we are entering the bench press, and Eric Willis, whom will lose ground on the squat, is going to cover massive ground on the bench, massive ground on the deadlift. We see shakeups, changing of the tide. You don't want to miss a single event. It's going to be tight.
Jesus Oliveras is going to be hard to catch, though. He's pulled out a huge lead.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's big benches in this session, and powerlifting. This is why powerlifting is a great sport, because someone who has a huge bench might not have a great deadlift, and the balance of power comes through to the final lifts.
Absolutely. Jesus Oliveras is no question the man to beat, but the battle for the podium is very tight. Getting onto the podium, what color your medal will be, and then at the top, of course, we have the Jesus Oliveras show, which how far can a young man of 23 years old push it? Already with just his openers, he can total over 1,000 kilo.
Wow.
At 23.
But we've seen some upsets in this competition. We've seen some leaders of the field come out and struggle on bench, not be able to pick up their opening deadlift. Still all to play for.
Yeah, in sports, anything is possible. By no means can you ever hang that medal on somebody's head or around their neck after only one event. So we say this with bated breath. But first, starting off the bench press, Nick Prasad of India, 95 kilo. And a reminder, we have 2 flights. This is flight 1. The top end nominations will be in flight 2. We will go through all 3 bench presses with flight 1 before we begin flight 2. Easy work for Nate.
Good lift. 110 kilo on the back.
Yep, keeps his chest up. Easy press out.
Loaded for Jonathan Bosca, India, 110 kilo, followed by McCarthy and Pelitza. His personal best is 100.
Bosca, Jonathan of India, 110 kilo loaded on the bar for his opening bench press.
Gave us a bit of a fright with his squat.
Yeah, let's see if the bench opener moves a little smoother. I'm sure for his nerve's sake, he would like an easy one.
Now, I can see the side referee hadn't put a hand down, wasn't happy with the start position. So I think whatever else happens, we'll see a red light from that referee. Yeah.
Uh-oh. And here we go again.
Ah, she was saying his hands were too wide. You could see the rings.
Gotcha. Can't really see it with my visuals there.
Yeah,
I can't find the rings on the bar, but
yeah, it wasn't really easy to see from the camera angle, but that's why he failed. And the centre referee failed to see that the side ref still had her hand up.
Ireland's James McCarthy.
Of course, we had this yesterday. The rule is that there must be a consensus, i.e. the majority of referees must be happy with the start position. But if you as a referee still have your arm up and you're not happy with the start position, then you must fail that lift.
There it is. Ireland's James McCarthy, 175. Ooh, little stutter at the top, though.
Yeah. His wrist wraps seem to be falling to pieces as well.
A little untidy. The wraps and the press.
Yeah, I can see why that was 2-1, downward movement of the bar. The whole bar must dip, but from the different referees' angles, it looks different each time.
Italy's Francesco Pelizza, 200 kilo even for his opening bench.
Hall and Gleisner. This is 5 kilo under his personal best. High from chest.
Smooth press.
Good lift. 210 kilo on the back.
Big arch there for a super.
His personal best.
Britain's Wesley Hall, opening with 210, which was his previous personal best.
Yeah, this is a brave move, isn't it? I hope it goes well for him. We do see people opening on records and PB attempts, but you've got to think it's wise to get an easy one in.
Yeah, I think you had said earlier it had been a while since he had competed, so
Yeah.
maybe he's hit this several times in training leading into this. See what the judges say. Head judge saw what we saw.
Yeah, it looked like his head come up. The thing is, with that failure, you often see this overturned by the jury. I don't think we're going to in this case because the side referees cannot see the head.
Robert Gleisner, Finland, 215 kilo.
Loaded for Gleisner Robert, Finland, 215 kilo, followed by Valak and Mas.
He has been credited with 220.
Under his personal best. We overruled the last.
Okay, so we hear it now. The jury have overruled
By the jury.
the lift for Wes Hall. His head definitely came up. And you often see this, because the side referees can't see it, you get a 2-to-1 good lift, but the jury have a great view of it. They see the replay and they say no thanks.
Yeah, on our slow-mo replay, which is the same view as the other two side judges, could not really see the head. You can't be everywhere. That's why we have 3 refs on the platform as well as a jury.
And as a side referee, bench is the hardest. You're looking for the feet moving, the butt coming up, the bar dipping, the head moving. It's really hard.
A lot of information to take in. Robert Valach of Slovakia, 220 on the bar for him.
Sank a long way. That's not a fail as long as it doesn't sink any further after the press command.
245 kilo on the back.
Mass of France, 245 on the bar for him. And these are big openers in flight 1.
Loaded for Mas Romuald, France, 245 kilo, followed by Mike and Jonathan. His personal best is 260.
He's a large man. I don't think his last name means the same as it does in English, but it's appropriate.
He's been asked to replace the bar. I think, yeah, his arms aren't locked out. He just looked a little bent. That was better.
Yeah, it might be how his arms rest regardless.
Good lift.
And that's a good lift.
107.5 kilo on the bar, starting the second round.
You know, he's in flight 1, but Mass is opening the biggest in bench, and we might see, and we've seen it before, a medal snagged in one of the events from a flight 1 lifter. Naik Prasad of India, 107.5. He bought himself some insurance with 95 kilo, credited with 150 kilo coming into Worlds.
107.5 kilo, followed by Jonathan and McCarthy.
I was very careful on the way down, and I think maybe he just took a lot of his energy, had nothing left for the press.
Yeah, I believe he had open light on his squat, did a big jump, and same situation.
Yeah,
A bit of a pattern repeating here.
maybe he needs to reel in the jumps on his second attempt. But of course he can't go down now.
Yeah, it's too late for deadlifts, perhaps adjust the game plan, and also repeating the pattern. Unfortunately, Boska Jonathan of India misses opener.
And he's gone up.
Interesting strategy.
I can understand this when you're in contention. You don't want to lose touch, and especially if it's a technical fail.
Okay, well, might have worked out. 3 white lights.
That's good. I thought he was struggled with lockouts a little bit on his right arm there, but the referees were happy, and he's on the board.
I would say you really got to think that strategy if you're going to use it. It paid off here.
This is a new personal best.
And Ireland's James McCarthy, 182.5 on the bar for his second bench.
We've seen this with a lot of Irish lifters opening on a PB because it has been a while since there's been any competition over there, or many competitions anyway. I think by the time the competitions got going again, a lot of the lifters were on their run into Worlds. So a lot of these lifters haven't been on the platform for quite some time, which is why we're seeing a PB attempt on his opener.
Ooh, brakes come on.
Oh. Well, you can probably throw everything that I just said in the bin there. That looks like it was an ambitious opener.
Look, sometimes that's the way it goes. It was his second attempt, so yeah, 7.5 kilo jump.
Oh, of course, we're already into the second
We're
round,
moving
aren't
so
we? Yeah,
quickly,
sure.
Joe. It's I know what you mean, where you can lose track, and if we feel like it moves quickly, imagine these gentlemen. Hopefully, they're adjusting. Not a lot of time in between first, seconds, and thirds. Francesco Palizza of Italy, 207.5.
Of course, I'm looking over to where people haven't made their opener yet, but they're all Group B lifters.
Oh, it's a little bit of work.
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady, 2.5 kilo personal best, and I imagine no more than 2.5 kilo jump for his third. Great Britain's Wesley Hall, 210 kilo, missed it on his opener.
Head came up.
It's a small adjustment to make. Strength is there.
And of course, if you haven't been in competition for a while, you may have been training like this in the gym and no one spotted the error.
It becomes a natural reflex. You know, the coaching staff of his probably was on an angle they couldn't see his head either. So hopefully they seen it in the replay and they were able to tell him what the infraction was.
Not sure why he was asked to re-rack there. Was it his grip was too wide? I'm not sure.
I seen the point. I didn't hear the verbiage that was given. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I think he, at the bottom of the bench, realised his head came up and just gave up.
Let's take a look at that slow-mo.
Now, we can't see the head from this angle.
Did he give, or could he not lock it out? I mean, head is one thing. If it's a strength thing and you can't lock it out, it's another. Hopefully, for his sake, you're right. And it was just, my head came up. I might as well save my energy. This is
I think he gave up, and the spotter took it on one side, and that's why it seemed to go up on one side.
Let's hope Robert Gleisner of Finland, 225 on the bar, awaits him. 5 kilo personal best. 10 kilo jump.
Huge men on this bench. It looks like he could grip that bench between his shoulder blades.
Between his lats, there is a bench. Believe me.
Start. Rest. Good lift.
Made short work of that.
3 white lights.
Bags loaded for Valak Robot Slovakia, 225 kilo, new personal best.
Robert Valic of Slovakia with 225, staying on the bar for his second attempt.
Come on, give big hand here for Robot.
5 kilo jump coming into this competition. 210 was his personal best. We are well beyond that now.
Only gone up 5. It's relatively conservative. Yeah, I'm not sure whether he jumped that as well. It seemed almost like it was still moving, and he threw it up, but it didn't go anyway.
This is 10 kilo under his personal best.
Seems like only a moment ago he was on the platform and he's back out again.
Francis Mass with 250, 551 pounds for his second. And he is definitely a podium threat in the bench. Really setting a high standard for our Flight 2 lifters. $250 kilo is good. And that is a pretty big benchmark for Flight 2.
Starting the third round, 5 attempts to change the opener for the second group.
Make Prasad of India missed 107.5 in his second. Looking to take that again for his third. These are the third and final bench presses of the Flight 1 lifters. Then we will immediately, with no break, go into Flight 2 openers.
Followed by Jonathan and McCarthy. Come on, give a big hand here for him that he can do this. Come on. Come on now. Start. Rest. Come on,
Better this time. Excellent.
Yeah.
It was almost a tempo bench on the descent on the last one. He went a bit quicker this time and had enough strength left for the press.
Nice moral victory there. When you miss one, make adjustments, come back and hit it. Buska Jonathan of India, 125 on the bar for him. Missed 110, went up in weight regardless, hit 115, and a sizable 10 kilo jump.
He's been instructed that he must cover the rings with his forefingers. Your grip cannot be outside the rings. Or not entirely anyway. Slow down, slow up.
3 white lights.
182.5 kilo on the bar. 3 attempts to change the opener for the next group.
Ireland's James McCarthy, 182.5, missed it on his second. Attempting it one more time for his third.
Just seemed a bit heavy last time. just won't quite go.
No lift.
Not today.
210 kilo on the bar.
Britain's Wesley Hall back against the wall. 210 once again.
This is not where he wanted to be. He spoke to him this morning. His squat was quite strong. He was struggling a little bit with getting food. The food here is very different than it is at home. And I wonder if that's affected his bench, but it's been technical errors, lifting his head. He needs to keep his head firmly on the bench. He is entirely capable of pressing this weight.
We're about to find out if that second attempt was him giving up the bar or strength issue. Wasn't strength.
Wasn't strength. And he looked to me to keep his head down that time.
Oh, sigh of relief.
2 to 1.
See the head.
It
Planted.
stayed down.
Planted.
1 red light for lockout. But 2 to 1 is good enough, and Wes is still with us.
Francesco Palizza of Italy, 210 on the bar for his third and final bench.
Come on, Francesco. New personal best.
Whoa.
Right on the edge.
3 white lights.
Good lift 2 to 1. 225.
Leads the bench session, 3 for 3. Slovakia's Robert Balic with 225 on the bar. Missed it on his second, hoping to take it on his third.
Followed by Gleisner and Mas. This is the new personal best for Robert. Come on, Robert. Come on, give me hand here. New personal best for Barak Robert, Slovakia. No more change is possible for the second group.
Just a bit too heavy today.
No lift, 230 kilo on the back.
He got 220. He's not left many kilos behind.
This is also a new personal best. Guys loaded for
Robert Gleisner of Finland, 230 kilo for his third and final bench. 5 kilo jump, 10 kilo beyond what he had previously done leading into the IPF World.
New personal best for Robert Gleisner. Give me hand here for Robert. Come on.
Oh, the brakes come on, that lockout.
I thought he had that. Couldn't quite press it through.
Yeah,
No lift, 255
nice catch by the spotters. It was decently quick off the chest, stalled out, and then starts to return right here. And they had a beautiful catch.
Great nation of benches, the finish. It's almost a national sport.
personal best.
Massive France, 255 kilo. He hit 250 for a second. 5 kilo below his personal best. And this might be your gold medal in the bench press event. Definitely a podium threat.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking at the openers. We've got a couple of openers that are above 230.
Eric Willis is a phenomenal bencher. Opening at a 235.
Yeah.
Bar speed was definitely quick. 3 white lights. You know, he might have, it looked like he might have had a little more in the tank, but again, he's in a position, if he doesn't teeter over, he might have just got gold in bench. Certainly a big threat for the podium. In this, the IPF World's medals are hard to come by. Now, Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
He's going to have to go and warm up his deadlift now, but I bet he's got one eye on the screens there looking to see what everyone else does.
You bet he does. Jari Sario of Finland with 190. We're in flight 2, beginning once again with the openers.
Being asked to lock his arms. You won't get the start command until your arms are locked. And in the IPF, if you can't lock your arms, then you can't bench. There is no rule to say that if you can't lock your arms, you can show it to the referee and tell him where you are.
3 white lights. He's on the board. Steve Ringoot of Belgium with 220 on the bar for his opener.
Dancing away there in the wings.
Rob Esselins earlier this week in the booth with us for some commentary, handling Steve, as well as the other Belgian lifters in the open. Sporting the Belgian flag over his face.
Look how much he's got his feet turned out.
Yep. Nice bar speed on
Really
him.
strong bench. But if we can see on the replay,
It's got to be careful the heels stay down.
yeah, that is always a risk when you're so far turned out. But a lot of lifters find that if they do turn out that far, it helps keep the hips planted.
Grounds him Ruben Rico Martin of Spain, 225 for his opener.
Brings so much energy to the platform.
To be on the receiving end of that fist bump, you got to brace yourself. Take a step back.
I think he would have knocked a fair few people over. Came off the chest really quickly. Had a little bit of work to do at the lockout.
Asking what the infraction was so he doesn't do it again next time.
And it was lockout.
His personal best is 243.
And that's the right move. Don't go back wondering what had happened. You know, usually the coach will look straight at the referee. And the referee's waiting for that. As you leave the platform, they're waiting for someone to ask them what it was for.
Understandable. Yep. You want to make that correction.
Yep.
David Lupak, former IPF world champion, opening with 225 as well. A popular weight to open up on flight 2.
Good lift, 232.5 kilo on the bar. His personal best is 250.
U.S. Virgin Islands, Jesus Oliveras broke a junior squat world record, collected the gold medal, setting a startling pace here at the IPF Worlds, his first IPF Worlds. Opening up 232.5. It is a monster opener, but he is a monster man. And the junior world record, Joe, if you happen to have that.
245.5. That was the Ukrainian Nakonechny, Pavlo Nakonechny. He set that in Kaunas 2018. We are really close to that already. But let's see how this moves.
I remember Pavlo well.
Lifting his strongman now, I think.
Oh, wow. Well, if we were looking to see how it moves fast. Blink and you'll miss it. I think that world record is in danger.
I think it is. I think we might see an attempt with his next bench.
Jesus Oliveras in the midst of a historical performance. And speaking of historical, Andrei Konovalov, the living legend, ROC, opening with 235. Squats didn't go the way he planned. Let's see if the bench press will.
Yeah, it was a surprise, wasn't it? We expected him to smoke 260 and then squat more, and it just didn't go.
Not today.
I said 260, didn't I? 360.
That's right.
360. He is not getting the start command. I don't think his arms are locked.
The elbow, yeah. I saw the same thing.
Yeah. But look at his grip.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That was
And
a lot of work.
I don't know if he's locked out his arm. I don't think that left arm is locked out.
That was a surprising amount of work as well, though. Usually, you know, we've said it before, we'll say it again, the bar is loaded with a weight. If you have very little time to do it because the start was delayed due to an infraction or whatever it may be, you have a weight on the bar, it doesn't overly extend you, and that looked strenuous, to say the
And
least.
he did have to unrack it twice, but it looked like an equipped bench almost.
Well, this is what he's done his entire career, and a very storied career in the equipped. Said he's worked very hard transitioning to classic. We'll see if he can adjust. But first, Eric Willis, 235. And
Wow.
listen, bench is Eric's jam,
I think that shows really clearly.
and today he'll take it with honey. Eric Willis opening up with speed, 235. A lot of room to grow.
235 kilo, followed by Zario and Rango.
235 will stay on the bar for Dmytro Vovk of Ukraine.
Oh, now. It's not going to go all the Canadians' way, is it?
We got ourselves a bench battle.
95 kilo on the bar, starting the second round.
That was so fast.
Yep. We got ourselves a bench battle. Taking a look, because Mass in flight 1, 255, still in the gold medal position. Eric Willis in silver, but that was his openers. Mass, that's his third. So we have some ground to cover, but that's what it looks like now after the openers from flight 2. Jari Serio of Finland with 195 for his second. We're already in the second attempt. We're moving rather quickly.
Left arm didn't look quite locked. Looked locked to the referees, though, and their opinions are the only ones that count.
Belgium, Steve Ringoot, 227.5. We're into the 500 pounds. 7.5 kilo jump.
Head referee just picked up a potential misload there. But we fixed that for Steve.
Loaded for Rango Steve, Belgium, 277.5 kilos, followed by Rico and Konovan. Come on, Steve, ready, Steve.
Come on, Steve, let's go!
Self-lift off. Oh,
Nice.
you know, the 7.5 didn't slow him down much,
No.
did it? Steve heating up in the bench press event.
Get some leg drive in. Make sure his butt doesn't come up.
Ruben Rico Martin of Spain, 235.5.
He nearly broke the hand of the handoff guy. That is one strong fist bump.
Followed by Konovalov and Lupa.
7.5 kilo jump.
Such an entertaining lifter.
To say the least.
I think that looked exactly the same as his opening. It comes off the chest fast. A little bit of work to do at lockout.
I spoke to Ruben in the back, and despite how it looked on the platform, he said he was not entirely pleased with the squats. I'm like, my man, you put on a heck of a show, but he wanted to gain ground in the bench and the deads that equaled his personal best. His eyes are to gain a little further on his third, so we'll pay attention to that. And Andre Konovalov of the ROC 235. We'll have to see if he can make some adjustments. Missed this on his first, a little surprising.
He did, yeah. He seemed to have trouble locking his arm out. Got a very unusual grip. Is that Japanese grip?
It is. They popularized it, and he's adapted that style. Bar reverberating. Oh, that looked much better.
It did.
Looked much better there. Back on track, Andre Konovalov.
He's on the board. This is not the day we expected him to have, though.
Back against the wall, but legends die hard, and he is a legend. Did the adjustments in the back, and judging off the first, it got a little scary. Speaking of legends, former world champion David Lupak of Czechia, 235.
He's also made the transition backwards and forwards between classic and equipped.
Walking through the warm-up room is walking through the hall of the Hall of Fame. There's so many IPF world champions back there. If you add up all the championships won, right.
245 kilo on the back.
And perhaps future world champion, Jesus Oliveras, U.S. Virgin Islands, 242.5 on the bar for him. Your eyes do not deceive you. 2 years in the game, 23 years old. Let that sink in for a moment. Battling some of the biggest names in the sport.
That was very easy.
3 white lights.
I can see movement in the jury. I think we have a lift overturned.
Have to pay attention to the scoreboard.
Lupak, his bench press is overruled because his butt was off the bench.
Ah.
Now I didn't see that. I was looking through my numbers. I didn't actually see that fail, but he has had that lift taken away.
Canada's Eric Willis, former 120 kilo world champion, 250 kilo, 551 pounds for a second.
His opener moved so fast.
And he's a dangerous bench presser, isn't he?
Wow. And that was a 10 kilo PB.
10 kilo personal best.
But he's moved up a class, right? So
This is true, and looks like the weight gain has aided his bench. 250 kilo will stay on the bar for Dmytro Vovk of the Ukraine.
So what we missed, because I was listening to the jury, we missed Jesus Olivares. He's only half a kilo below the junior world record, and he's added another 7.5. So that will be a junior world record when he comes out again.
Records are in danger.
This is a massive bench press.
Oh, wow. You know, Eric made good work at 250, and we see these gentlemen back to back. It looked like Vovk is pacing a little better. We'll have to see, though.
That was, you think he's got another 10 there.
I shudder to think. Now, Mass's lead is getting cut a little closer. Keep in mind he was from Flight 1. That's his third attempt, 255. These gentlemen are on their second. But Eric Willis within 5 kilo of the golden bench. So is Vovk. It's going to be tight for the bench records and even for the bench gold. And even bigger picture than that, it's kilos toward the total. Jari Savio of Finland, 197.5. We are in our third attempts.
Yeah, his second, he's only went up 2.5, but his second did look really tough. So that's no surprise, really. But he got every kilo that he was capable of on the day, didn't leave anything behind.
This is 2.5 kilo under his personal best.
Steve Ringoot of Belgium, 232.5. Opener looked like work. Weight got heavier, and he got more intense, and it moved just as easy as his opener.
It did.
5 kilo sounds appropriate. He seems to find another gear.
Does like to take a moment to compose himself. Didn't look much different.
You know what? It's got to be said. You're 100% right. He just finds another gear as the weight gets heavier. If you were looking at his opener, you'd be like, well, maybe it won't be a great bench session for Steve. Well, guess again. 3 for 3. And
This is the new personal best attempt.
235 for Ruben Rico Martin of Spain.
A little bit more than he's done in competition before. I love him coming out roaring like a dragon.
Well, lions roar. And this is his jungle.
Come on, give me Ken, your new personal best. Come on.
It's stuck a little bit, but he's sticking with it.
3 white lights.
235 kilos still on the back.
And that's a PB.
Personal best. 3 and 3 for squats, 3 and 3 for bench. David Lupak got this. Jury overturned it, retaking 235. Representing Czechia, former world champion. Wants to set the record straight. See what the refs say about that.
Didn't seem to be a lot of movement through the body. Yep, good lift. You watch that back. Yeah, I think he keeps that planted.
And all is well that ends well. 235. And I'll tell you what, if he had gone up in weight, he might have missed it. That was work, so
Yeah.
on point anyways. And Andrei Konovalov, he had a bit of a scare with his opener, came back, hit the second much easier, much more smoothly, but it was work.
It was. And he's gone up 10.
It's ambitious, but perhaps he finds another gear. He wants to cover ground and stay tight for the podium finish.
Yeah, because looking at the projected, he's not in the running, which is a shock, really. I mean, we've got a long way to go yet. We cannot write him out of this competition, but he's sitting in 7th on projected totals.
The Russian Olympic Committee lifters often have placeholder openers for dead, and those get changed in the lead up.
He's not getting his... Oh, he has got the start command.
Yeah, struggling for the lockout. Nope. 10 kilo is ambitious.
So he is 2 for 6.
It's not a great batting average so far. Let's hope he can steady himself in the deadlifts. He's going to need to if he's going to finish on the podium. And Jesus Olivares of the U.S. Virgin Islands, a junior, world record being loaded, 252.5 kilo to be exact. The way 245 moved, this is an entirely reasonable ask.
This will move him up to silver medal for now.
Carving out a historic performance. Whoa. Kilos on the table, but that doesn't matter what the bigger picture. He'll take it.
2 to 1.
You know, some people come to the IPF Worlds and get overwhelmed by the moment. This young man is a junior competing 2 years, and look at what he is doing, 6 for 6, and leading the pack, a pack of legends, no less. Impressive. And amongst those legends, Eric Willis, former world champion, Canada's golden boy, the first ever open world champion that nation has ever had, benching for a possible gold in the bench press event. Already has the bronze. We'll love to swap that for the gold and add precious kilo towards his total.
He's gone up 7.5. His second was so easy. And that one was harder, but yeah.
An
that's,
appropriate third.
17.5 kilo PB on bench.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. You know, that was probably exactly what you want your third to be. Any more than that, you might be getting greedy and you might tip over. Pacing himself well. He had a bit of a shaky squat where, if you remember, he missed his second, came back, nailed his third, had you wondering what happened with the second there. 3 for 3 in the bench. And Dmitro Vovk of the Ukraine, 260, might just take that gold medal from Eric Willis.
And again, his second was so comfortable. He moved so quickly.
We thought it
gone
moved
up
better.
10.
Yeah, we thought it moved better than Eric's, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
However, he's going beyond what Eric just pressed. Bigger picture, though. He wants to add kilo towards that total. Him and Eric are not only fighting for medals in the bench, but also for the podium finish. So many storylines going on at once, it's difficult to keep you updated. We shall do our best. Oh, wow. Absolutely beautiful press there. 3 white lights.
You have to wonder what he's capable of.
We didn't see his top end yet.
No, that was so easy.
And as we take a peek at the scoreboard here, so Dmitro Vovk of the Ukraine, a smooth and easy 260. Eric Willis of Canada, 257.5. And Mass from France from Flight 1, collecting the bronze with 255. Just beneath them, Jesus Olivares breaking a junior world record with 252. Unbelievable bench session, as we had predicted. Looking ahead, though, Jesus Olivares lighting the powerlifting community on fire with a 680 subtotal. And if you're thinking he's a subtotal guy, guess again. He has a monster deadlift. I promise you, you don't want to miss that. Vovk, Rico Martin, Mass, Konovalov, Willis. It is a murderer's row of 120 pluses. Do not go anywhere. We will take a short 10-minute break. And welcome back to the IPF World Championships here live in Homestead, Sweden. I am Ryan Six-Pack Lapadat, accompanied by Joe Whiteley. And Joe, we have had quite the show by the 120 pluses today, haven't we?
Absolutely phenomenal lifting, and it hasn't always gone exactly how we thought. We've had Konovalov has not put in the performance we expected. He's 2 for 6 right now. And we have seen this in other classes this week, where the favourite or one of the favourite doesn't perform up to expectations and loses out, and in some cases doesn't even make the podium.
It would be an unforeseen turn of events, but that is sports. However, a stark contrast to Konovalov's performance is the young upstart, Jesus Oliveras, who coming into this was walking amongst giants, literally and figuratively, a lot of IPF world champions in the mix, and he has really had a banner day, hasn't he?
He really has. He took the junior world record on squat. He took the junior bench press world record also, and I think he may well be taking a run at the total world record too in the junior category.
Putting the world on notice, just 23 years old, 2 years powerlifting, and already a startling performance. And we have battles all over the place when we look at gentlemen like Eric Willis.
We've also got a lifter from group, the lower group is sitting in 4th place overall.
Mas from France, Ruben Rico Martin of the Ukraine. It's going to be a tight battle. Too close to call right now for the rest of the podium. Certainly, Jesus Oliveras trending for that gold medal, barring any out-of-the-ordinary disaster, which we can't really foresee. But the silver medalist, the bronze medalist, and then, of course, the deadlift medals, all still up for grabs. I'm sure it's going to be action. Starting off that action, 170, Nick Prasad of India. And once again, a reminder, we have so many 120 pluses, we had to split them up into 2 flights. This is flight number 1. We will do all 3 rounds of the deadlift, and then we will jump into flight number 2, which has the top end nominations, and we will begin with their openers, no break in between. Whites, and he looks like he's on the board. His total is solidified. With the deadlift, only one command, it's the down command. On the squat, you have the squat command, the rack command, the bench, start command, press command, rack command. With the deadlift, it's just the down command.
It's the only lift where the referees don't have to be satisfied with your start position, you just pick it up. Which is exactly what he just did.
Nicely done there. Bhaskar, Jonathan of India, makes easy work of 180.
His personal best is 295.
Mas representing France, 285 for his opener.
So he's sitting in 4th place at subtotal, but he's opening relatively light on deadlift, so we're going to see him slide down the rankings now.
Yeah, once flight 2 begins, we'll have to keep an eye on those totals, because the deadlift, you could see some massive shakeups. Fast off the ground, a little slow as he gets to the lockout position.
Just snaps his knees into lockout as he gets to the top.
And we have a couple 350 kilo openers. Again, Eric Willis of Canada. Fair squatter, but it's the bench and the deadlift that he covers the most ground. James McCarthy of Ireland, 300 kilo.
PB's 335, so hopefully this looks comfortable.
Nicely
And
done.
it does.
Good lift. 310 kilo on the back.
Finland's Robert Gleisner. 310 kilo for his opening dead.
Loaded for Gleisner Robert, Finland, 310 kilo. This is 10 kilo on his personal best, followed by Pilica and Hall.
Nice work.
Again, a little slow at lockout. Came off the floor well though.
310 kilos still on the back. Loaded for Pilica Francesco, Italy, 310 kilo, followed by Hall.
Francesco Palizza from Italy, 310 kilo for his opener. And all of these gentlemen looking to just solidify their totals, hit their opener. You can cover the ground afterwards. No sense gambling with your opener.
Yep.
Once you hit it, you can no longer bomb out. Especially in the 120 pluses when the weight gets heavy. You can cover a lot of ground if you need to.
Great positioning there at the bottom of the pull. It's often difficult for these bigger lifters to get a good start position on the deadlift.
Wesley Hall of Great Britain, 330 kilo.
Wesley, Great Britain, 330 kilo. His personal best is 350, followed by Bala and Mike.
Long way up.
Certainly is. Gave us a bit of a fright on bench. Only got his bench in on the third time of asking, but he's made sure of his opening deadlift.
330 gets taken to the top floor. Robert Valic of Slovakia, 340, 750 pounds for his opener.
340 kilo. His personal best is 360, followed by Knight and Jonathan.
IPF President Gaston Parage doing the announcing. Short break in between our bench and deadlifts. I was hustling to the washroom, and over my shoulder, I seen him. We're hustling to the same place. Pulling double duty, triple duty, wearing all hats.
180 kilo. We're starting the second
As we all have, we've seen people refereeing and coaching and lifting themselves. We've had Joe Whiteley on the mic all week, but his voice is just now spent. No more to give.
He gave it all, just like so many of these lifters here. 180. We are already on the second attempts. We're going to be moving fast in these deadlifts.
And that's not great for the super heavyweight lifters. They are pulling a huge amount of weight and having 5 or 6 minutes to turn that around to another attempt.
Naik Prasad of India, 180. And yeah, you had said earlier, hey, look, it's great for warming up, plenty of time to warm up to your opener. That's great because you have 2 flights. However, because you have 2 flights and the flights are chopped in half, the turnaround between first, second, third.
It's really quick, but we have 16 lifters. The maximum permitted group is 14, so we had to split them.
Bosca Jonathan of India, 190 for his second attempt, 10 kilo jump.
Followed by Muss and McCarthy. This is 10 kilo under his personal best.
He looks happy with it. Gently lowers it.
Deadlift. 300 kilo on the back. This is a new personal best. That's a meilleure performance. The muscle run. La France de Goulag.
Ramoud Mas of France, 300 kilo even.
5 kilo PB. if he can make it.
Yeah, it's so fast off the ground. Slows up
Yep.
around the lockout position.
Got one red for lockout. I thought one of his knees was a bit soft.
He looked back as if to say, well, why did I get that? His head coach seen is like, well, we're all good here. Let's keep it moving back. It's justified. James MacArthur of Ireland, 317.5, 700 pounds for his second attempt. See the belt up high on this young man's torso. Big breath, brace against it.
Legs locked out a bit early, but the weight didn't trouble him.
Good year. 320 kilo on the back.
Francesco Palizza of Italy, 320, 705 pounds. 35 years old, 13-year veteran of the game.
Followed by Glide 9 Hall.
Oh, that's tough. Oh, it was slow to start anyway.
325 kilo on the back. This is a new personal best up there.
Slow off the floor, pretty snappy at the lockout. Robert Gleisner of Finland, 325 for his second.
Finland 325 kilo, new personal best. Come on, big hand here for Robert. Come on.
That just ground to a halt. Couldn't lock it.
Very quick for a while there.
He's just got a little bit grey, I think.
Yeah.
It's okay.
The big breath when you hold it, obviously the compression. You get a little dizzy. Yeah, I wonder if he can make, takes a couple breaths out back, come back and hit it because he has all types of steam off the floor.
Yeah, it moved really quickly.
This is also new
Great Britain's Wesley Hall, 357.5 kilo.
This is a big jump. Things haven't gone totally his way. His squats didn't look very easy. Only got one bench. And this is a 27.5 kilo jump.
Wondering if he just wants to cover a little ground. He feels like he lost in the first two events. Wow.
Well, he was certainly well justified in making that jump.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Regaining some ground here in the deadlift event.
Coached by Paul Marsh, I could see him just in the wings there, and he wouldn't let you go out for something that you were not capable of doing.
He's a veteran of the game, been in a lot of battles at these IPF Worlds, and got some world champions out of it.
Been here all week. He coached the Masters, he coached the Juniors, and he's here coaching the Open.
He's a workhorse, bless him. And Robert Valac of Slovakia, 370 for him. And if you like big jumps, 30 kilo, Joe.
That's massive. That was tough, though.
It was strenuous. Yeah,
Lockout was not quite there.
Wondering about the lockout. Let's take a look at the shoulders.
Got it so far.
Knees look good, but the knees
Oh,
kind of
knees
open up
unlocked
too.
because he leant back, yeah.
The knees unlocked for a second there.
And this is something that can happen. The lifter leans back to give the illusion of lockout, but at the same time the knees unlock as they do it.
Cover one hole and another one sprouts a leak. Bhaskar Jonathan of India. 200 even for his third and final deadlift.
Okay, we have only 4 attempts to change the note now. One lifter less in this first group. Loaded for Jonathan Bhaskar, India, 200 kilo, followed by Mas Manuel and Gleisner. This is the same as his personal best. Come on, people, wake up to the little support here for the lifter.
Oh, it's a grind. Three for three.
305 kilo on the back. 3 attempts to change the opener for the second group. This is also a personal best, a nouvelle performance.
Mahmoud Mass of France, 305. This will be a personal best for him, jumping up 5 kilo from his second. I believe this was getting stuck around the thigh level towards lockout. See if he could handle the slowdown at lockout with 5 more kilo on the bar. The bench bronze medalist.
Lockout wasn't there. You know, I think he did his best there to carry the speed off the floor all the way to lockout, but his shoulders were hunched, his knees were soft.
Yep, it was going to be tough to lock that out. We kind of seen that building. And Robert Gleisner from Finland, 325, missed it on his second, retaking it for his third and final lift of the championship.
This is also a new personal best. Loaded for Gleisner, Robert Finland, 325 kilo, new personal best attempt. Followed by Pelitza.
I believe he had speed off the floor, got a little lightheaded. Fast again. Nope. Lightheaded again, and the spotter's on cue.
No lift. 325 kilos.
And that's a large man to be tumbling backwards if they don't catch him.
He's going, he's just gone a little bit grey, but he'll be fine. You use so much energy on that pull.
Yeah, the big breath with the compression, which you want, obviously. It helps you generate force with no power leakage. However, sometimes you might get a little dizzy. And Francesco Pelizza of Italy, 325 kilo is being loaded for him. Third and final pull of the day for Francesco. And if I got a moment, I'll give another shout out to Alico. We're at their headquarters, this beautiful equipment we're using. Top of the line, elite stuff. Only the best for the IPF Worlds. SBD as well. And Pelizza, 325 awaits him. Nicely done.
Looks good.
That's pretty much what you want your third to look like. We're almost done our flight one. 3 more pullers. James McCarthy representing Ireland, 330 on the bar for his third and final pull.
Let's go. Come on now, James. Save
The Irish in the crowd rallying behind him.
You can always hear the Irish team.
They make their presence felt. If there's 3 of them, there sounds like there's 20. Scrappy final pull for James McCarthy. Good enough.
I think he got 1 blue for supporting there, but 2 referees were happy, and that's all you need.
Yeah, looked good to me.
Yeah, I don't think there actually was any supporting. It's difficult to call in the moment, though. Some big weights on the bar now.
370 kilo for Robert. The latch of Slovakia missed it on his second, retaking it on his third. Well over 800 pounds now, 815 pounds to be exact.
Loaded for Robert, Slovakia, 370 kilo. New personal best attempt. Come on, big hand here to Robert. Come on, Robert.
Oh, nope.
No lift. 370 kilos still on the back.
It looked like it was going to go, but then just stopped moving mid-thigh.
Very quick off the ground, and yeah, came out of his hands mid-thigh. Wesley Hall of Great Britain also attempting 370 kilo, looking to go 3 for 3. 357.5 for a second, moved well. We thought it was a big jump.
Did. I was a little bit concerned about the size of the jump, and this will be a 20 kilo personal best, but he looked good on his second.
Yeah, he proved our concerns were unwarranted for the second. Let's see what he does for the third.
What a fight. Do you think he locked it? 2 to 1 he did. You always know it's a little bit marginal if it's a 2 to 1 call. But that was a great pull. I thought about here. No, it's not going. But he kept on pulling through.
I'd say he didn't leave any kilos on the table. I'll tell you that right now.
Absolutely.
And we move on into flight number 2 for the openers.
I mean, do you think that pull might have got him on the deadlift podium?
It's a tough call. We got people like Eric Willis and
yeah, it's early to say, isn't it? Yep.
Opening with 350, possibly. We'll keep you updated. Opening Dmitro Vovk of Ukraine, 305. And once again, we are in flight 2, beginning at the openers. And the battle for the 120 is about to be decided. 120 plus. Dmitro, a contender for the podium, but it looks like he's going to lose some ground in the deadlift event.
Had an incredible bench. 260, moved so well. I mean, this isn't even too far off what he bench pressed.
Wow.
Nice.
Good lift.
Going to see a big jump there. I wouldn't be surprised if he put 20 kilos on that for his next.
Steve Regout of Belgium, 310 for his opener. If I remember correctly, Steve snagged a deadlift medal last time we were at the World Championships. He's got a pull on him. Nicely done.
Good lift, 310 kilos still on the back.
Yep, no drama there.
Loaded for Konovalov Andrei, Russian Olympic Committee.
310 kilo remains on the bar for the living legend, 20-year veteran, ROC representative Andrei Konovalov.
He's not found the transition from equipped classic quite as easy as we expected. That was fine, but how much more has he got?
Slow and steady. I'm not sure if this is the way he pulls,
Maybe so.
but I agree with you. It wasn't snappy. And if the first two events were any indication,
I don't think we're going to see him anywhere near the podium, you know.
it might be difficult. It's a little surprising.
It
But
really is.
we don't know the background story. And here is Ruben Rico Martin vying for a podium finish. Speaking of the giant Spaniard.
Spanish bull.
Oh, and if you wanted fast and snappy, you got it.
Good lift, 325 kilo on the back.
That was a great pull from the Spaniard.
Personal best is 350.
Another IPF legend here. David Lupak of Czechia, 325 on the bar for his opener.
Loaded for Lupac Stary, Czech Republic. Followed by Olivares and Sarius, 325 kilo.
David finds himself battling amongst a host of Goliaths. Oh, it's a smooth enough opener, but
Yeah, it wasn't super easy though.
Good lift, 342.5 kilo on the back.
Do you think that takes any energy rolling the bar backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards?
you know, it's just because they're large men, it's difficult for them to get down into the deadlift position. So, but Jesus Oliveras of the U.S. Virgin Islands, junior world record 342.5 on the bar for him. He has a massive squat, a massive bench, and guess what? A massive deadlift. Triple threat.
This will, with his first pull, he's going to put 10 kilos, more than 10 kilos on Luke Richardson's junior world.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
That was phenomenal.
Isaac Whistler, his handler, nodding his head in approval, and I guess so, that was fast.
Yeah, so Luke Richardson has now moved into strongman, no longer competing in powerlifting. But yeah, that was absolutely phenomenal. We're going to see a lot more weight come on there, I think.
Jari Sario of Finland, 350, 751 pounds. Awaits him for his opener, and these are some massive weights being shifted for openers. Also waiting in the wings for 350 behind Jari is former 120 kilo champion Eric Willis, also opening with 350. A threat for the gold medal in the deadlift, a threat for the podium. With this pull, Jari is already at a 900 kilo total. Pretty smooth. He likes it.
Yeah, that moved quickly.
His personal best is 370.
Canada's golden boy, Eric Willis. The former 120 kilo champion, making his 120 plus debut at Worlds. Nicely done.
Made short work of that.
3 white lights. And all of our super heavyweights are on the board. Now they can start covering ground with their second and thirds. We're going to have battles for the deadlift medals. We're going to have a battle for the podium. And we're going to witness greatness with Jesus Oliveras having an unprecedented junior campaign and looking like the solid favorite for the overall gold. There's a peak now. Keep in mind with that scoreboard there. The first flight had all 3 lifts, and that's a mixture with the openers of the second flight. But Wesley Hall with 370, he might end up with the deadlift medal. We'll have to see.
Yeah, the 350s, 350 openers moved very, very quickly, so we might see big jumps there. But I think Wes Hall is in with a chance of a bronze on deadlift.
Steve Ringoot of Belgium, 325, smoked his opener. Good second pull.
Didn't look too different in terms of bar speed.
Picks up another 15 kilo. ROC, Russian Olympic Committee's Andrei Konovalov, multiple time world champion, world games champion. 327.
17.5 up from his opener. I didn't think his opener was too easy. And it's not going.
And, you know, out of respect for the living legend, I hesitated in saying it, but I was feeling the same. His opener was definitely work, and 17.5 seemed ambitious.
This is not the first time we've seen someone who is a big favourite, or at least a contender, coming into the competition go, well, it's not over yet, but 3 for 9 and not make the podium.
Rico Martin Rubin of Spain, 330 kilo.
I love the energy he brings.
Whoa, 330 offers no resistance for Ruben Rico Martin.
We've got a tight battle now for podium places.
Look at that human being. Mitro Volk of Ukraine, 330 kilo for his second attempt. Nice, smooth second.
Very good. He got a red for lockout. I'm not certain. I didn't really see anything wrong there, but we have the referees spread on both sides of the platform. They can pick up any infraction.
And the battle for the podium is so tight now. We have 3 lifters jockeying for silver and bronze, and there's only 2 placements. Somebody's getting pushed off the podium. David Lupak of Czechia, 337.5. Not today.
I think his hips rose early there. I think he didn't quite get his initial pull position quite right. So who knows? Maybe he can correct that and come out for it and nail it on his third.
And when we complete the second attempts, if the producers can give us the total standing, interested in showing the crowd and the viewers just how this battle is unfolding. Because it is tight to get on. There it is right there. Thank you. Look at that, 952.5, 945. And Willis, he's a lot closer than the 927.5 would indicate, because he's still to pull his second and is just within a couple kilo of those other gentlemen. When Willis hits his second, he'll actually be in bronze position. Yari Ari Serio of Finland. 360.
No, he didn't get his shoulders back. I hesitate to say it because he's a big guy and it's hard to judge sometimes, but he was a little bit hunched forward, shoulders did not go back.
Jesus Oliveras, U.S. Virgin Islands, 365 kilo, 804 pounds for a second attempt. Junior world record. Jesus.
This is a big jump, 22 kilos up.
He's having the perfect day thus far.
Yeah.
When a young man his age, only 2 years in the game, finds himself, there's a look at the scoreboard there. And what I was saying, Eric Willis, if he hits his second, and he still hasn't had his second, will end up with a 947.5. So between 952 and 945, only a few kilos separates three gentlemen looking for 2 spots on the podium. Super tight podium race underneath Jesus Oliveras. Do the math. One of these gentlemen's getting bumped off the podium.
We're just cleaning the deadlift bar. There's a little bit of contamination on the bar there, so we're just making sure that everything's completely fine with it.
Yep, you don't want any. Baby powder sometimes falls off of the legs onto the bar, and you don't want the grip compromised for the next lifter. And the next lifter being U.S. Virgin Islands, Jesus Oliveras.
It's taken a 22.5 kilo increase.
It's substantial, but it's all relative, I suppose, when you're getting this heavy.
He absolutely smoked his opener.
Left no doubt on his opener.
He put 10 kilos on the junior total record, and he's going to put another 20 kilos on it now.
I wouldn't doubt this young man. Wow, that's fast.
Looks like he's got more in the tank. This is his last year as a junior, so he's going to want to look to push this total as far up as he can, so it'll stand for as long as possible.
The speed on his pulls. And there is Eric Willis, 370 kilo being loaded for him. 20 kilo jump from 350. Eric certainly would pull himself in the lead for the deadlift event, pull himself into podium position overall.
Wes Hall from the first group is currently holding the top deadlift spot. This will take him off it.
Eric has a phenomenal deadlift on him. Three white lights. You know, I'd said in the squat event, he had a bit of a shaky squat event, and that's okay. He usually gains his total from the bench and from the deadlift. He's back end loaded, and you're seeing it now. And Andrei Konovalov of the ROC.
So Wes Hall is now pushed down to silver medal position on bench, and we still have plenty of deadlifts to go.
327.5 for Andre, and it's going to be a massive ask. There is a look at the deadlifts. Eric Willis pulls himself into the gold medal position on body weight. Wes Hall from the flight 1 resting in silver. Jesus Oliveras in bronze, but there's one more round of deadlifts to go in their second flight. Maybe Wes Hall can maintain a podium spot.
Come on, give him a big hand. Come on!
Andre would love to finish his day.
He's 3 for 8 right now.
Nope, not today. And you never know what kind of element, like he's somewhat limping off the platform, what kind of element some of these lifters bring into the IPF worlds when they don't have the day possibly anticipated. But they hit the platform regardless and do their best, collect team points for their nations. And Steve Ringout of Belgium, 332.5 on the bar for him. 7.5 kilo jump.
Followed by
Here he comes.
He's pulled this weight before.
Nope, not today.
Big hand here for Steve. 340 kilo on the back.
We are getting into the pointy end of the competition now.
Yep, this is where the failure rate gets high when people are pulling themselves into the event medals as well as the total medals.
And it's a personal best.
And this is Vovk of the Ukraine.
Yeah, we have the wrong
Rico
lifter
Martin.
lined up.
I thought, yeah, Rico Martin is listed 345 with his
That
final
is
pull.
not who is lined up to come out. So,
Spania is coming now.
yeah,
Wait, no, Wolf.
yeah, we've just had a little table error, and Vovk has had his lift marked bad before he's taken
Gotcha.
it, which is a bit unlucky. So he's ready to come out. He's looking for 340.
Hopefully not a premonition. 340 on the bar. He had 330 as a second, moved well. 10-kilo jump.
And it's a little bit rattling when you're fired up and you're in the zone waiting to come out for your final deadlift, and there's a small problem.
That is the jump from the 6 to the 5 place. And a personal best.
Off on his hands, and he'll finish with a 952.5 total.
That's such a shame. I thought he had that. That went all the way to the top,
Very
and
quickly.
his grip went.
Which is a chance to take him away the silver medal.
Now 345 will be on the bar for Ruben Rico Martin of Spain. The Spaniard Goliath looking to go 3 for 3, pulling himself into a silver medal position, if temporarily. A few more lifters to go after him. But first he must do his part, and here he comes.
He already has a big total PB. This is 20 kilos above what he's done in the past, and he wants another 15 on top.
Oh!
I thought his grip was going.
No. You know, I was questioning myself at the lockout position. Very quick to the top, but the lockout got a little sticky.
I think his when your grip starts to go, it's really hard to produce any force and get through. So that's a shame for him. He finishes off the podium.
Look, once again, thank you to the producers. Eric Willis hanging in there with the gold on deadlifts. And we have 365 being loaded. Yari missed 360, opting to go up to 365 and possibly get a bronze medal in the deadlift event and move up to 5th overall. 365, 404 pounds. Ooh. Nope. Lockout again was an issue. And these large gentlemen at the top, to get their hips through, the way they're proportioned, it's difficult.
But I think he couldn't carry on pulling because look at his hand opening there.
Yep.
Otherwise, I think he'd have tried to keep going.
Eric Willis attempting 375 kilo for his third and final pull. Currently resting in bronze overall. Would love to swap that bronze for a silver medal and take it from Volk of the Ukraine. Vovk. Here he is.
Asking for the support of the crowd, he is receiving all of it.
Canada's golden boy. Whoa! His knees are shaking. The engine is revving. 2-1, it's good. What a great comeback performance. Fell behind in the squats, gained all types of ground in the bench press, and finished it with a monster pull.
Now I saw that Jesus originally had 387.5 loaded up for his deadlift. He's pulled that back in, that was going to be the deadlift junior world record, a clean sweep of junior world records, but he's reeled that back into 377.5 now. Maybe a 9 for 9 is a better goal.
You know what? 9 for 9, a world title as a junior and your first Open World Championships. It's a hell of a feat.
Here we go.
Wow. Sends it down.
No, I think he was just. If we get a replay of that now, he could not quite lock that out. It was so close.
But the fire and intensity for the new 120 kilo plus king, Jesus Oliveras, with a startling performance. Can't wait to see what comes next for this young man. You know, we talked about some of the legendary resumes of Konovalov, Lupak, but what is the resume going to look like for Jesus Oliveras when we talk about him in 5 years? This could be the beginning of something special, and you witness it here. Do not go anywhere. We will be back with the medal ceremony. Six-pack Lapidat.
Joe Whiteley.
Till next time.
medals will be handed over by Gunilla Bromberg from Elatko. Give a big hand here. And Fashid Sultani, the president of the Asian region and EC board member. Okay, we start with squats. Bronze medal goes to Vov Dimitri from Ukraine, 362.5 kilos. Silver medal goes to Rico Ruben Martin, España, 380 kilos. And the gold medal goes to Olivares Jesus from USB Island with 427.5 kilos. Was a world junior record. Thank you. Then we go forward with bench press. Third place goes to Mas Romuald from France, 355 kilos. Second place goes to Willis Eric from Canada, 257.5 kilos. Also here you can see it was all very close. And the gold medal goes to Vov Dimitri from Ukraine with 260 kilos. Thank you. Then we go forward with deadlift. Third place goes to Olivares Jesus from USB Island, 365 kilos. Second place goes to Hall Wesley from Great Britain with 370 kilos. And first place to Willis Eric from Canada with 375 kilos. Thank you. Then we come to the total medals. Bronze medal winner, Vov Dimitri from Ukraine, 952.5 kilos by body weight. Second place, silver medal goes to Willis Eric from Canada, 952.5. So he got the silver medal by body weight. And the new world champion with a new junior world record of 1,045 kilos goes to Olivares Jesus from USB. You take your mask off for the pictures now. Hey, Gunilla, stay here for the national anthem. Please stand up for the national. Everybody stand up, please, for the national anthem of USB. Please, everybody. Before we going out, I want to also say thanks to all the lifters. Maybe some will leave now and not at the banquet. So thanks to all those who will be leaving us and have a safe trip back home, and all the others I will see on the banquet. Thank you very much. Great championship, a great week, great 2 weeks. Thank you very much. Please music, walking behind, and a big hand for the lifters.